Welcome to ForexAmple. Right, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys are all doing well. My name is Michael Lee. I am CEO of ForexAmple FX, and in this week's Sunday market analysis, we're going to be going over current price delivery of what we've seen and what we can expect to see for the week. So we are going to start on the 4 hour, and we are going to basically, if we look at the market and how it's been moving, we have seen bullish action coming in. Price has been delivering bullish, been ranging and pushing upwards, and we're now in that pullback phase. We're in that pullback phase from this high back down to this most recent low. All right, so we've pulled back, and now we're starting to initiate higher. So price is starting to initiate higher. So we know we are in bullish price delivery on the higher time frame. Now, when we go down to the lower time frame, we can see where we expect price to move from here. So what we're seeing is we're seeing price, again, bearish price delivery, bullish, bearish, move up in a trend-like form. Obviously, those who are part of, for example, will know that we don't just look at trends in the traditional, very theoretical view of trends and how most people are taught how to trade. We look at trends in a different way, following in the way that the market movers actually create them. So we see price printed, we've had a bullish move to the upside, and we're now correcting ourselves and pulling back, and we are now taking liquidity. And currently we are at this phase of the market where if I go down to the lower time frame, we are pushing quite sluggishly, but nevertheless, we are pushing bullish. So what we can expect to see when we look at this type of price delivery is we can expect to see, when we look at this type of price delivery, we see that price is moving quite sluggish. We've moved quite aggressively to the downside. We've had a range, we've moved aggressively to the downside, and now we are slowly pulling back up. That slowness in terms of pulling back up is telling us one of two things: that either price is struggling to make its way back up, or that BFIs are stacking price in this area in order to push price higher. So when we're looking at this Sunday analysis, when we're looking at where we're going to when we look at where we are in current price and where we're expecting the market to move, we could see one of two things happen. We could see price as it takes on this range motion. All right, we see this range being built up in this area right here. Okay, so we could see this build price up and then move to the upside, because we know that we obviously have liquidity sat here. We have liquidity sat here, and we can start to move to the upside in accordance with the higher time frame bullish narrative that we were observing. Or what we might see is price pause in this area and then continue lower before then continuing higher. But I do think that we're going to see price spike to the upside. I think what's going to end up happening is price is going to range, spike to the upside on market open, and then it's going to correct and fill in some of this imbalancing price that we've seen over the course of the week. We've seen an imbalance in price, and then we're going to see it continue in that corrective bearish direction once we've moved up. So I think, yeah, this imbalance of price needs to happen at some point. This filling of the imbalance of price needs to happen at some point. But by having the higher time frame in mind as well, we are remembering that price is obviously now pushing up bullish to create the next phase in the market. All right, so that's what I'm expecting to see. So now, even if we go up to the 15-minute time frame again, whenever we are seeing these sideways moves happen, all right, we know that the banks are gearing up for some sort of intention to take place. So that is what I'm expecting to see. Now, what's really interesting between these highs and these lows is that they are quite close together. And we know that when we have highs and lows that are stacked quite close together, that what BFIs are doing is they're creating liquidity. So they're creating liquidity in the form of the high, and they're creating liquidity in the form of these lows as well. Okay, see these lows that are stacked together. All right, so they're stacking price, and they'll either take that liquidity and move to the downside, or they'll move down to the downside and continue and then eventually move up. But this inefficient pricing needs to get filled. It doesn't need to get filled right away, but it needs to get filled at some point in the future. Zooming back out now onto the higher time frame. We're going to go 8 and then 12. This gives us a clearer picture of where we sit in the overall price delivery. Okay, where we see an overall price delivery. We can see that we have a series of ranges. We can see we have a series of highs and lows, and we can better see where we are coming from. Okay, so we've had this bearish price delivery that has delivered over the course of the last year, definitely the last year. We scale back all the way here with January 2022. So over the last year, we've seen Euro USD move bearish and then start to correct itself bullish. So of course, we know that we do have areas where price can come to fill in these higher parts of the entire range, because if we look at the entirety of the range, we have a high right here, okay, to mark that as a high, and then we have a low right here, and then we have our low right here. So we've got our high up and our low. So in the range, we know that banks are operating and moving between the range of this high and this low. So we could see price come up to, again, reach areas higher up in the range before starting to continue further. But given where we are currently, we still may see that continuation to the downside, and we might just be in a pullback at this kind of moment in time. So I hope this was helpful. This is a really short one this week because I think it's pretty explanatory what price is doing. It is moving with intent. We can see clear, clean price delivery taking place across all the time frames, to be honest. So it's not anything that isn't quite easy to understand. However, we just want to be aware of what the potentials of the market can bring in the week, and we want to be ready for all eventualities when it comes to the market. We know that even though we're coming onto these Sunday analysis calls and we are observing and determining where we think price may go, we ultimately want to be observers when we are in the market. We want tomorrow, when we hit the markets on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on and so forth throughout the week, we know that we want to be observers and we want to allow the market to show us what it wants to do, and then we as traders react to that rather than us trying to dictate what we want to see happen. We allow the markets to show us and the BFIs to show us what they want to do, and we move in accordance with that. So with that being said, thank you for watching the video. If you do have any questions, throw them in the comments and we will try to answer as many as we can. And furthermore, if you are interested in our mentorship, in joining our community, then hit us up in the DMs. You can hit us up on Instagram at ForexAmpleFX, which you see here, and on TikTok at ForexAmpleFX2. And you can hit us up there to find out more information about joining our community. So then, have a great trading week.